The year of noise. Good evening, everyone. I want you to take a moment. Close your eyes for just a second. Listen. What do you hear? Maybe it's the hum of the air conditioner. Maybe it's the traffic outside. But if you really listen, you can hear it. The noise. The chaos. We are standing at the doorstep of 2026. And if the last few years have taught us anything, it's that the world is getting louder. The news is louder. Social media is faster. The pressure to have an opinion on everything, to be available 24/7, to climb the corporate ladder while also being a perfect parent, while also looking great on Instagram. It's exhausting. We feel fragile, like a phone battery at 1%, desperately searching for a charger. But what if I told you that you already have a charger inside you? What if you possessed a set of superpowers, forged in ancient Greece, that could make you invincible in the modern world? I'm not talking about flying or invisibility. I'm talking about the Stoic Superpowers. Today I want to tell you a story. It's the story of how we can stop being victims of the world and start being architects of our own minds. By the time we're done, you'll have 3 daily habits to take into 2026 that will make you unstoppable. The origin story. What is a Stoic? Let's start with a quick origin story. Not Batman, better. Around 2,000 years ago, there were men like Epictetus. He was born a slave. He was beaten, broken, and owned by another man. Later there was Seneca, a politician who was exiled by emperors and ordered to commit suicide. And then there was Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man on earth, the emperor of Rome. 3 men with vastly different lives, 1 slave, 1 emperor, but they all had the same secret weapon. They all practiced Stoicism. Now when you hear the word Stoic, you might think of some grumpy person with a stone face, repressing their emotions. That's the Hollywood version. The real Stoic isn't someone who blocks out feelings. The real Stoic is someone who has an unshakable operating system. Epictetus, the slave, figured out the secret code. He said, "Some things are in our control, and others are not." That's it. That's the origin of your superpower. In 2026, your boss might be unreasonable. Not in your control. The economy might dip, not in your control. Someone cuts you off in traffic, not in your control. But your response, your judgment, your attitude, 100% in your control. That is superpower number 1. The power of the pause. Superpower 1, the pause, the daily habit of the objective view. Let me tell you a quick story about my morning. I woke up yesterday. I checked my phone. Immediately an email. A client was angry about a mistake. My stomach dropped. My heart started racing. The ancient fight or flight kicked in. My brain started writing a defensive, angry email back. That's the old me. That's the fragile me. But I stopped. I took a sip of coffee, and I used my Stoic superpower. The pause. I looked at the situation, but I stepped outside of myself. I imagined I was a fly on the wall. I looked at the angry email, and I looked at myself getting angry. And I asked, is this within my control? The client's anger? No. The mistake that happened? Actually, that was yesterday. That's the past. Also not in my control right now. What was in my control? My next move. So instead of reacting, I responded. I fixed the mistake, apologized, and moved on. But if I hadn't paused, I would have carried that anger for the entire day. The habit for 2026. Here is your first daily habit. I call it the 3-second rule. Every time something annoying happens, the coffee spills, the internet cuts out, someone is rude, I want you to physically stop. Take a breath, just 3 seconds. In that gap between the event and your reaction, you will find your freedom. Ask yourself, is this in my control? If it's not, let it go. You are not a cork floating on the ocean of chaos. You are the anchor. Superpower 2, the obstacle is the way, the daily habit of reframing. This leads us to superpower number 2, the obstacle is the way. This is my favorite story from the Stoics. It's the story of Marcus Aurelius fighting the Germanic tribes. The Roman army was massive, but they were tracked. The barbarians had blocked every path, cut off their supplies. The soldiers were scared. They were stuck. Imagine the stress. You're the emperor, and you're stuck. Marcus didn't see a blockade, he saw an opportunity. He looked at his generals and said, "We can't go through them, we can't go around them, so we'll go through them. Charge." They turned the obstacle into the attack. They used the problem as fuel. In 2026, things will go wrong. That's guaranteed. You will have a flat tire on the way to a job interview. You will get sick right before a deadline. The universe doesn't care about your plans. The Stoic secret is that the obstacle is the path. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The habit for 2026. Here is your second daily habit. I call it finding the yes. When something bad happens, don't ask why me. Ask, what can this teach me? Or, how can I use this? Got a flat tire on the way to the interview? Yes. Now I have a story that shows I'm resilient. Got a terrible review at work? Yes. Now I have a map of exactly what I need to improve. When you reframe the world cannot defeat you. You turn lead into gold. Superpower 3, Memento Mori, the daily habit of urgency. Finally, the last superpower. This one sounds dark, but I promise you it is the most liberating. It's called Memento Mori. Remember that you will die. I know, great party topic, right? But stick with me. We waste so much time. We stay in jobs we hate because we're comfortable. We stay in bad relationships because we're scared to be alone. We waste hours scrolling on our phones because we think we have infinite time. The Stoics used to meditate on death every day, not because they were sad, but because it was the ultimate productivity hack. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Imagine you looked at your phone right now and saw a countdown timer. You have exactly 40 years left, or maybe 10, or maybe 24 hours. Would you spend today worrying about what Karen from accounting said about you? Would you spend today procrastinating on that dream you have? No, you'd run out that door and grab life by the throat. The habit for 2026. This is your third daily habit. Every morning before you pick up your phone, I want you to whisper to yourself, "I am alive today. This is not a rehearsal." Treat today like it's the dress rehearsal for the big show, because actually, this is the big show. This is it. When you remember you're going to die, suddenly, the peer pressure vanishes. The fear of public speaking vanishes. The fear of starting that business vanishes, because what's the worst that could happen? You fail? You die? You were going to do that anyway. Conclusion. Your invincible mindset. So, as we step into 2026, the world is going to try to push you around. It's going to throw noise, obstacles, and fear at you. But you now have your superpowers. 1. The pause. You know what is in your control, and what is not. You are the anchor. 2. The reframe. You know that the obstacle is the way. You turn walls into doors. 3. The urgency. You know your time is limited. You will not waste it on things that don't matter. Epictetus, the man who was born a slave, eventually gained his freedom and started a school. He told his students, "You can bind up my leg, but not even Zeus himself can conquer my free will." That is the invincible mindset. You are the author of your life. 2026 is just the next chapter. Make it legendary.